Tonight, an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation is raising questions about safety and staffing inside one metro department.
It follows the tragic death of a 19-year-old public works employee last summer. He was crushed to death working on a garbage truck. Investigative reporter Ben Hall found he was never trained for the job, and others weren't either.
Well, that's right. The driver that night had a history of accidents and a severe hearing problem, something witnesses say played a big role in the tragedy. This surveillance video from downtown shows the final minutes of Chandler Harris's life. He's the one standing on the back of the city garbage truck.
I couldn't believe what I saw.
Heath Baird was at 5th and Commerce that night in July and is still disturbed by what he witnessed.
The truck was backing up. It kind of hit the curb, and he was just at a bad angle.
The truck backed into this alley with Harris still on the bumper, but the driver was off course.
It just kept scraping up the building, and then at that point, some people were like, hey, stop, stop, stop.
Tragically, Harris was knocked to the ground. The truck backed over him once, then pulled forward, running over him a second time, crushing him to death.
It feels like nobody's taking responsibility for what happened.
Josh Easler is a close family friend who watched Chandler Harris grow up.
And he wanted to be a Metro police officer, which is why he was working at Public Works. He was too young to go to the police academy.
Harris had only been with Public Works for 3 months, and he had never worked on a trash truck before that night.
The reason he ended up on the trash truck was because he got there a couple hours early and they were short a man, and they put him on that duty, and it cost him his life.
But our investigation discovered Harris wasn't the only untrained person on the truck that night because of staffing problems. So was the driver, 58-year-old Larry Trinery.
I hate situations happen, you know. I wouldn't hurt nobody for the world.
We talked to Trinery outside his home. We blurred his face after he declined a formal interview, but told us his boss told him to drive that night because another employee didn't show up.
How much training did you get?
I wasn't trained at all to do that job.
Our investigation shows Trinery rarely drove garbage trucks. He usually drove much smaller, slower sweeper trucks. And even then, he had more than a dozen accidents over the course of his career. But even more disturbing, we found he had a history of severe hearing problems. On his original employment application, when asked if he had any physical defect, disease, or disability, Trinery marked yes and wrote hearing problem. In 2008, a Metro supervisor wrote, employee has severe loss of hearing now, claiming it was made worse by 15 years of driving very, very loud street cleaning trucks. Metro's doctor found he was injured on duty for noise-induced hearing loss.
I was like this. A lot of people were just yelling and going like, hey, stop, stop, just trying to get his attention. But I don't think he could really hear.
Trinery told investigators he did not hear people trying to stop him. Witnesses say he didn't stop until someone banged on his window.
They actually like got on at the driver and like knocked and said, hey, stop. And then he stopped.
Despite Trinery's well-documented history, his supervisors ordered him to drive that night with Chandler Harris.
And what did the boss say?
Huh?
What did the boss tell you?
Well, they just told me the job to do. I wouldn't do it the best I could do it. But I wasn't used to that truck. A whole lot bigger truck than I used to.
The Department of Labor blasted Public Works for unsafe working conditions and failing to train its employees. It says employees were unaware of basic safety standards, which prohibit people from standing on the back of trucks while they're in reverse.
I can change things going forward. I can't change what's happened in the past.
Public Works veteran Mark Macy took over the department in September when Mayor Barry took office. He made this promise then.
What we can do is going forward is make the program safer, make sure everybody's trained.
But Macy would not speak about what happened that night.
We know that there was a driver and that he probably shouldn't have been driving the truck.
Chandler Harris's friends and family see this as a warning about what can happen when understaffing and lack of training collide.
This was an avoidable occurrence. This never should have happened.
The driver that night retired, and no one has been disciplined. An outside consulting firm is reviewing Public Works safety program, and they are making changes. We've posted a full response from the department on our website, and we will keep following this and the changes they make.
Sad story on all levels.
Yes.
Thanks, Ben.